Okay, so a lot of you know that I have a business partner and a partner in the spiritual game, my BFF, my bestie, Allie. We've known each other since we were 7 years old. Now, we've been having a discussion about the Clancy case, and my bestie came to me and she's like, look, I've read the cards, I've kind of got into it. In the beginning, when everything came out, I was just like, oh, she's guilty. And I was like, oh, same thing, just didn't think much about it. And then as things have come out and as the trial has started, we both decided to read on it. Now, our readings were very similar, and our POVs were slightly different. In both of our readings and both of our sets of cards, which was completely separate, we didn't do this together, we did this at different times. Her said that Mr. Clancy wasn't necessarily the one that unalived the children. But the cards also stated that neither was Lindsay. The card stated that Mr. Clancy was the one who initiated and manipulated all of these things to happen. The rhetoric, going around creating a narrative, telling people one thing separated from the truth, cheating, scandals, new life, falling for another sociopath. So that's two sociopaths together. All of these things. But the cards did show that him specifically had something to do with Lindsay's demise, but neither Lindsay or Patrick showed up in the reading as their kids, which I thought was odd. And I was just like, well, maybe the universe isn't giving us enough answers. Maybe it's just it wants it to play out. Sometimes that can happen within the cards. The universe doesn't give us everything. It's not a magic 8 ball, okay? So basically my BFF was like, well, maybe it was Lindsay, and she was in this psychosis and he pushed her to do it, and it's not really her fault perchance, but maybe she is the one because the cards keep telling me Patrick's not the one that strangled his kids. And so we sat down and I processed all of these things. I processed the readings that I had done. I processed the readings she had done. And then I went through and I started following the case and seeing little things that were starting to tie up to give the whole picture. And I'm about to break it the fuck down. I believe, personally, that the abuse and the neglect had been going on for a while. The neglect, the cheating, the stepping out, the coldness. And I believe that made Lindsay's mental health kind of skyrocket to the bottom, plummet. Okay? And I think that she was seeking help for ideations and depression and things that she was going through. Because if you've ever been in a relationship like this, then you can know that you can get so far to the bottom, because I've been there with someone from their abuse, even if it's not physical, that you get to the point of just wanting to leave the world while steadily trying to make it work and keep things intact. And I think he was pushing her and pushing and pushing her. Now, I think he met a woman, and I think this woman was a doctor. And I think that he met this woman that was a doctor and that she instructed him on what to do to cause someone to go to sleep, have extra free time, set some things up. Even more to the point, I believe that she personally instructed him on how to carry this next part out. She was like, all you need to do is across the carotid artery. Assuming that this man is married to someone in the medical professional, he would know where that is. Not assuming that he would have to go to Google and look that shit the fuck up. Now, the one thing that has really come out is everyone's like, Lindsay said it was like watching herself do it. Lindsay said it was like watching herself do it. Now, here's what I think happened. And Jay, Megan, if you happen to catch this video, please feel free to chime on in. I think that he crushed up some medicines and he waited for her to go the fuck to sleep. I think his new lover came over during that time after she had passed the fuck out. And she's the one that had access to Lindsay's phone and Apple Watch. I think at that point, once everybody was asleep, the kids and Lindsay, he went to CVS for his alibi. I'm sure the new girl already had hers intact. And I think that this man went to CVS and kept checking the cameras to see what was happening, to see when he needed to head back, because he wasn't going to have the balls to do it himself. But this other sociopath who has no emotional attachment absolutely could. I also think that during this time is where Lindsay said it was like I was watching myself do it, because if she was thrown out of the window and she's already laying on the ground, comatose out of it, and she happens to wake up, she can see through where she is laying from. She can see through the basement windows, which the lights would have had to have been on, right, to see what you're doing, or it's pitch black in there. So if she saw someone who looked identical to her, her statement would be, it was like I was watching myself do it. But she couldn't move. She couldn't move her body. She was probably in paralysis. And all she could see was what was happening. Like she was having an out-of-body experience. But what she was actually witnessing was the unaliving of her children by someone else. And so the other thing that came out was these specific type of knots. Specific type of knots that were found around the necks and hanging. Would you like to know what type of knot? I'll show you. This is the type of knot This is the new wife of Patrick. That's the knot that was found on the kids that Lindsay has no clue how to do. So either she knows these top knots and Patrick taught her, or Patrick did it. Either way, awfully suspicious, don't you think? So I think that he came back, and this goes with the discrepancies of time. And she said, I took care of the three in the basement, and she's the one that told him that his kids were in the basement. Handled Lindsay before, and the new wife helped him hoist her out the window, and he caught her wrong because she wasn't up there while he was handling that because she was doing other shit. And that's why the body temperatures between the kids and Lindsay don't fucking match, because it was two different people involved. Now, I want you to understand this is all theory. None of this is being represented as facts. It coincides with everything in the readings, but it makes even more sense now. I also want to add that prior to this happening, this man was taking multiple trips, and directly 30 or so days, a month or so after all of this has happened, this man went on vacation in the same place as the new wife, where they both left reviews about it. And his was very basic, but the timing was suspicious. And hers was, this is the third year we've been, as in we've. It wasn't I, like Patrick's, it was we. So I would love to know who the we is for all 3 years, considering Patrick was definitely listed in the third year. And the reading was very particular, because you can see that on my other page at the Cunty Coven. The reading was very particular, and whoever Patrick was seeing did not want the baggage of his old life. It was either we create a new life together, or you can get wrecked. And there seems to be a lot of Googling and medical terminology and medical shit all tied into this, including the crushed medicines. So what do I think that the cards are trying to tell me? What do I think that the tarot is trying to tell me? I think the tarot is trying to tell me that the new wife unalived the kids, that Patrick tried to unalive Lindsay, and that it was the two of them together, the new wife and the ex-husband, that did it all, but had planted it and premeditated it to make it look like this. And a doctor could very easily help someone do this, especially if they wanted to start a new life, especially if they had a lot of access to knowledge. And it seems like all of the knowledge that was used seemed very, from a medical standpoint, including him going against medical advice with Lindsay and pretty much encouraging and catapulting the mental health to a worse place, which I'm sure he was instructed to do. But I believe Lindsay is 1000% innocent.